Footballers, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what type of plyometrics that you need to do to move like Neymar. And yes, there will be video examples. And I already know what you guys are thinking, and no, not all plyometrics do this. There are very particular types that can get you that really fluid, classic Brazilian style that we all know and love. So really quickly, my name is Matt Stigler. I am a pro footballer performance coach, and I have been for about 10 years now. And during that time, I've got footballers just like you, results like this. So listen, I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's get right into it. So listen, there are 3 levels to understanding this type of plyometric, and for every level that you add on, you are going to get even more benefit. So if you just add level 1 to your routine today, you will improve. If you add level 1 and 2, you will notice a significant increase in your performance on the pitch. And lastly, if you add 1, 2, and 3, you will be absolutely unrecognizable to your teammates and opponents. Now, level 1 is most simple. It is going to be deep range of motion plyometrics. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you've heard me talk about these a decent amount, but I promise you that there's going to be even more to this in this video. So to be an elite mover like Neymar, you need to be able to first absorb movement and then produce it. And deep range of motion plyometrics are perfect for doing movements just like this on the pitch because it increases the emphasis that we have on the force absorption due to the fact that we're increasing the amount of ground contact time that we have during the plyometric. In addition to that, they work the entire joint and muscle through a full range of motion to improve its mobility and fluidity on the pitch. And you can see the differences here between a small range of motion plyometric and a deeper one. And you can really see how each of these exercises, while they are the same movement, would have completely different effects on the body. Now, on to level 2. Imagine you took a footballer like Neymar, Musiala, or Yamal, and all of their joints were very fluid and shifty except for one. This wouldn't make them a very good mover, and it would actually negatively impact the entire rest of the body, which is why we have level 2, where we need to do deep range of motion plyometrics for the ankle, knee, and hip dominant movements. And this is so many programs don't even have a good balance of ankle, knee, and hip dominant plyometrics in general, let alone when you consider the fact they need to have balance within that from a force absorption perspective. So to make sure that we're well-rounded movers, we need to make sure to target each joint individually based on the plyometric. And here are 3 examples that you can do to target the ankle, hip, and knee. The first one is going to be deep range of motion squatted ankle pogos. And I know these look weird, but trust me, these are gonna be one of the best things that you can do for your ankles. Then we have deep range of motion, narrow split stance, floating heel jumps, which is quite the mouthful, but it's a great plyometric for the knees. And then we have a deep range of motion, alternating jump to toe touch. And that toe touch is what really makes it a hip dominant movement. Now, the third and final level of these plyometrics, to make sure that it really translates onto the pitch when you are trying to dribble past your opponent, when you're trying to lock down that shifty winger, or when you're trying to change direction and get to that loose ball, is by doing deep range of motion plyometrics for the ankle, knee, and hip, but making sure to do each of them in the sagittal plane, frontal plane, transverse plane, and with force redirection. Now, why do all these matter on the pitch? Well, sagittal is really beneficial for movements that are forward and backward. So this is things like acceleration, deceleration, and change of pace, which we often see on the pitch during moments like this. The frontal plane works side to side motions. So as you can imagine, this is when you are trying to cut past your defender or when you are tracking someone who's maybe making a run into the box. And the transverse plane works all rotational based movements. So this happens in very small ways when we are running, when we're kicking, and it happens in a more obvious way when we're like turning to go make a run or turning to chase down a attacker. And then our ability to redirect force is just combining a bunch of different aspects. So maybe I start going forward and then I go lateral. And that's just a combination of, okay, I accelerated and then I'm chasing someone who then changed their direction. So we need to be able to absorb force during all of these movements to make sure that we aren't doing anything that makes us terribly stiff on the football pitch. So here are some examples of how you would take the exercises from level 2 and change them to make them a bit more specific to level 3. We would take the deep range of motion ankle pogos and make them lateral squatted ankle pogo jumps. We would take the second plyometric from level 2, and all we would change is we would make them do it forward and backwards. So it's going to work acceleration and deceleration in that position for the knee joint in particular. And then we could do like 90-degree rotation squatted jumps with toe touches to get some rotational based hip dominant plyometrics for force absorption. Of course, there are a million different combinations of plyometrics that you can do to achieve these goals. And I utilize all of these and way more in my one-on-one personalized programs for footballers. So if you're interested in that, I will link that and my programs below. Otherwise, guys, I really hope this was helpful. Please let me know what you guys want to see next in the comments or shoot me a DM. And otherwise, I will see you guys next week.